Hello everyone. How are you? Happy Wellness Wednesday. It is me, Niki Purcell, your resident former teacher turned wellness advocate. I am here to deliver some exciting education for you today as a former teacher, once a teacher, always a teacher, and share a story with you as well that will probably resonate with a lot of people. I am also going to be announcing 2 winners live on this live event here, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So if you are tuning in live, please say hello so I can see that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're catching the replay today, go ahead and hashtag replay in the comments so that we can check in and say thank you for watching with us. Again, my name is Niki Purcell, former teacher turned wellness advocate, not because it was something I wanted to do, but because it was something I absolutely had to do. As a former teacher and a mom and a type A. So I was the room mom, the team mom. I was going through graduate school at the same time I was teaching full time. And I also had tragedy strike my family. We experienced 3 deaths within 3 short months. And if you could say I was stressed out, overwhelmed, and in need of some support, that would be an understatement. It just kind of all came to a head. I was burning the wick at both ends, so to speak. My nervous system was fried, but not only that, I was in a chronic state of sickness. So I was suffering from chronic throat infections and sinus infections. So I did what any normal person would do, is they would go to the doctor's office, and the doctor's office would say, well, we need to prescribe you some antibiotics. And so I would faithfully do what the doctor told me to do, and I would take those antibiotics, and very shortly thereafter, and I mean shortly, so a cycle of sickness, like every 3 to 4 weeks, I was experiencing a major infection in my throat or my sinuses. I would go back and they would say, well, it looks like you need stronger antibiotics. And so I would faithfully do what they said, and I would take those antibiotics. And this cycle went on for about a period of a year. And what ended up happening was that I actually became severely allergic to some of the most common antibiotics. And the doctors never connected any dots for me. It was just something that happened. But 2 of those allergic reactions actually ended me in the ER. One of them, I had a slight seizure. The second one, I had temporary blindness. And let me tell you, when you lose your vision because you're taking antibiotics, it will scare the bejeebers out of you and force you to take a good look at what you're doing, right? Whatever this was, this cycle that I was in, this cycle of sickness and this whole big pharma pathway was not working for me. So what I did was I met Big Pharma's little brother, Little Herba. Anyone know who Little Herba is? So here's what I didn't know at that time was that Little Herba is what I like to call it, but basically the natural health and wellness supplement industry is just as unregulated, and it's like the wild west of natural health, right? Some of it's great, some of it's not great, but they really do prey upon our desire to break free from big pharma and to heal ourselves. And so you have to have a lot of education and discernment to navigate that world successfully, which at the time I did not have. So if somebody said, hey, Niki, here's this herb in this supplement and you should take it because it will help you, I took it. And then I just continuously added on and added on and added on and added on. And at the end of this pathway I was on, I was taking literally fistfuls of supplements and powders and pills and tinctures. And if this is something that you can relate to, please drop Little Herba in the comments below to let me know. I am not alone. I was determined to heal myself through natural health and wellness protocols. But what I did not know was that I was just consuming massive amounts of things and not all of them were serving me well. So I did eventually try to break free from that. And I dove into the world of food and movement as medicine. And it was at that point that somebody introduced me to Super Patch. And when they told me that this was a drug-free, ingredient-free, top-down nervous system healing modality with 0 side effects that was safe for everyone from womb to tomb, I definitely leaned in, and I actually leaned into the science. And even though I very first got started with the sleep patch, which was mind-blowingly successful for me, absolutely changed my life. The patch that made the greatest impact for me is the Peace Patch. So I'm here to give you some education about the Peace Patch and to share a story with you that I think a lot of you will it will resonate with a lot of you. And hopefully this is going to be information that you feel is incredibly beneficial and helpful to not just you, but to the people that you love, especially the women in your life, okay? So I want to start off with this scenario, all right? Have you ever sat in a doctor's office with a list of symptoms, chronic fatigue, joint pain, brain fog, digestive chaos, only to be told that your labs look fine? Has this ever happened to you? Drop a yes in the comments if this has happened to you. Maybe they gave you a prescription for anti-inflammatories. Maybe they hinted it was all in your head. Maybe you finally got an autoimmune diagnosis and the best that they offered was symptom management. But here's what almost no doctor ever asks. Number 1, what is your current stress load? Number 2, have you lived through trauma, adverse childhood experiences, or chronic emotional stress? If a doctor had asked me that, I would absolutely have answered yes, right? To all of those things, but no one ever asked. And number 3, how long has your nervous system been in survival mode? If you feel like you are currently living in survival mode, I just want you to know that you are not alone and there is hope backed by science, okay? And you know, the situation is it's not just once, not even once do they connect the dots between psychological pain, stress hormones, and physical disease. And it's absolutely maddening, right? Instead, they tell you that your immune system is attacking itself. But science actually paints a very different picture, and that is what we are here to talk about today. Now, if you are like, where's the winners and who's going to win? Stay tuned till the end, because I actually have 2 names, 2 winners that are going to be announced at the end of this live that are going to win some amazing swag that you don't want to miss. And then the cash giveaway is actually going to happen in the next live at 7 p.m. Central tonight with Courtney Sapp. You do not want to miss this powerful testimony that she's going to share. So make sure that you stay tuned to the end of this live so that you can catch the winners' names and then also tune into the next live. All right, we're going to dive into the science that they are not telling you. These are things that you may want to write down. This is definitely something that you're going to want to think about for yourself and the other women in your life. Here, this is super, super important. And I did not know this, okay? Chronic stress equals chronic cortisol. And that's kind of a buzzword, right? Especially if you're in midlife like myself, cortisol is like this buzzword. But chronic stress equals chronic cortisol. Elevated cortisol throws everything off. Your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your belly fat, your inflammation, your sleep, your hormones, and your mood, okay? So if we want to just, stop just treating all these little symptoms and taking dozens and dozens of pills and powders and potions and tinctures for all of these different things, or even prescriptions, we need to take a more holistic look at what might be the root cause of some of these things. And chronic stress equals chronic cortisol, which equals elevated blood sugar levels, blood pressure, belly fat, inflammation, sleep, hormones, and mood, okay? This is the biological foundation for heart disease, for diabetes, for metabolic syndrome, and all of those mystery symptoms that women over 40 especially get dismissed for. All right. Number 2 is stress drives something called neurogenic inflammation. This is stress-induced inflammation triggered by your nervous system itself. Think about that. This is stress-induced inflammation triggered by your nervous system itself. So if you are experiencing chronic stress, your inflammation markers are probably through the roof, right? This is also linked to autoimmune disorders, to arthritis, to IBS, to migraines, definitely to anxiety, to skin flares, and all kinds of issues that are related to that. Number 3. Allostatic load. This is the scientific term for wear and tear. Every unresolved trauma, every stress cycle that you never completed, every year you powered through accelerates aging, hormone dysfunction, immune dysregulation, chronic disease risk, and emotional burnout. And no wonder we walk out of appointments feeling gaslit, unheard, and hopeless, right? This is the cycle that we actually need to break free from, not just the cycle of sickness and the big pharma cycle of antibiotics and prescriptions, but we need to break free from the cycle of feeling unheard, of feeling unrecognized, of feeling like we're crazy because we feel that something's wrong with our bodies and our doctors are telling us either there's nothing wrong or they're just prescribing us something that's never going to get to the root cause of the issue, right? The missing link is actually your nervous system. And if you can go to my Facebook page, you'll see this funny story I put down, and it was a skeleton and a nervous system next to it. And the nervous system is this crazy, intricate, massive system that runs from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And this is the thing that's actually running the show in your life. It is the control center of your entire being. It regulates cortisol. It regulates inflammation. It regulates your trauma responses, your emotional regulation, your gut function. It regulates your hormones and your immunity. It regulates literally everything. So doctors don't have a prescription to retrain a dysregulated nervous system. This is super important that you understand this. There is no prescription to retrain a dysregulated nervous system. But the dysregulated nervous system is the thing that's leading to all of those list of conditions and symptoms that we're chronically suffering from, right? And that's exactly why the Peace Patch stopped me in my tracks. So the Peace Patch is, like I said, 100% drug-free, 100% ingredient-free, non-invasive, safe for all ages, literally from womb to tomb. So if you think about that, the impact that we could actually make in a child's life by giving them something that would prevent chronic stress, chronic inflammation, that allostatic load that hits us like a freaking freight train when we turn 40 years old and older. What if we could help our children have better regulated nervous systems from the very beginning, so that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? And it actually works in seconds. And the best part is that it is zero side effects. Zero side effects. There isn't another natural health and wellness supplement, powder, pill, tincture that you can take that is safe for everyone, that has zero contraindications, meaning that it doesn't matter what medications you're taking. I'm not here to tell you to stop taking your medications. Okay, I'm just sharing my personal story. It doesn't matter what medications you're taking. It doesn't matter what supplements you're taking. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what state of life you're in. So if you're a baby, if you're pregnant, if you're nursing, if you're an elderly person, it's irrelevant. This is safe for everyone with zero side effects. That is a big freaking deal when it comes to being able to provide people with a solution that's actually gonna work for them, right? It uses this amazing technology called vibrotactile technology. Think about it like Braille for the brain. I'm going to show you one of these patches. They're absolutely amazing. And here's our Peace Patch. This is the one you want to get. This is the one that's going to change your life. This is the one that every human on the planet needs to have in their toolkit. They're super cute. And when you peel off the backing, you can see these little teeny tiny ridges. They look like a thumbprint, right? So this is basically like Braille for the brain. These teeny tiny frequency specific patterns send micro signals through your skin. So I have my patches on right here. So they send micro signals through the skin that your nervous system instantly understands. It speaks the language of the brain, which is frequency, and it supports and retrains your stress response by helping your body shift out of fight or flight and back into regulation, not by forcing anything, but by communicating directly with that master that is running the show called your nervous system. This is holistic wellness tech on a completely new level. And here's the best part, especially for me as a former educator and someone who has been down every pathway you can possibly go down when it comes to natural health and wellness, is that you don't have to just take my word for it. We have clinical research to back it up. So this is literally hope backed by science. The Peace Patch was presented at the World Congress of Psychiatry, and it's published in a peer-reviewed medical journal. And in just 14 days in the study, participants experienced a 33% reduction in perceived stress, a 23.8% improvement in mental health scores, 90% of users reported satisfaction, and there was 0 adverse side effects. This is unheard of, you guys, in this natural health and wellness space, especially for a product that has 0 ingredients in it. So I'm going to take one more chance to let you know how important these are for especially people over 40. So if you're over 40, please make sure that you drop 40 in the comments below. Don't leave me hanging. Don't make me feel like I'm all by myself over here. What you need to know is that if you are over 40, this is actually imperative for you to understand. By the time that we hit midlife, literally decades of stress are written into our biology. Even if you don't feel stressed, I cannot tell you how many times I talk to my friends and they are experiencing all kinds of autoimmune issues, skin flare-up issues, inflammation, joint pain, brain fog, all kinds of issues, but they're like, I don't feel stressed. But the reality is that you have that allostatic load, which means that your biology has accumulated the imprint of stress in your biology over time. These are even things that pregnancy, grief, trauma, divorce, caregiving, career burnout, survival years, right? Chronic self-abandonment. This is a big one. And what happens is that our hormones shift, our metabolism slows down, our inflammation rises, and our resilience to disease, or the ability to fight off everyday common things, which is full circle back to my situation, is when I was experiencing those chronic throat infections and those chronic sinus infections. I didn't realize that the root cause of all of these issues was actually chronic stress, which was causing that inflammation, which is lowering my resistance. And what I was doing to try to solve the problem was actually destroying my gut microflora and my mental health along with it. I was severely depressed. I had experienced intense anxiety, and I didn't know what I could do to fix the issue besides take medication, which I did not want to do. So I just silently suffered for a very long time. And that is why I'm so passionate about telling people about these patches, is because there is hope, and it is backed by science, and it doesn't require you to take a prescription or fistfuls of supplements, and it actually works. I can tell you, of all of the millions of natural health and wellness things I've done to help myself experience relief from stress, from anxiety, and from depression, these patches, this combination of patches I'm going to tell you about in just a second, has been hands down the most impactful thing I have ever done for myself. And I want everyone to know that there is hope out there and that healing is possible. These patches don't heal you. What they do is they help the body get into a state of homeostasis so that it can do what it was designed to do naturally, which is heal itself. Okay, so the patches that I use and I recommend, especially for everyone over 40, but anyone who has skin in the brain, is the Peace Patch. The second patch that has been most impactful for me is the Joy Patch. This is literally like sunshine in a patch. It is optimism in a patch. This is hope in a patch. The very first combination that I started using was not actually the Peace Patch, but it was the Joy Patch and the Boost Patch. I equated a low mood with depression. So I was actually scared to even try something that I thought could be perceived as lowering my mood. And so I started with these two, which is the Joy Patch and the Boost Patch. And this is for low mood, for depression, and for low motivation, which I was really struggling with a ton. And these patches really just opened my heart and my mind to the possibilities for what they could possibly do for me. And when I actually added in the Peace Patch, it was wildly transformational for me. I like to say that, I shared just a really interesting experience, is that I hike all the time, and when I would go outdoors, all of a sudden I started to realize that I was seeing colors really vibrantly, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing. Like, I was seeing in Technicolor, and I was like, what the heckity heck is happening? And so I started doing more research, because I love to research things. As a former teacher, it's like just my love language. And it turns out that when you are stuck in a state of chronic stress and fight or flight, that your brain is so brilliantly designed that it will downgrade non-essential functions, right? And some of those non-essential functions is seeing in vibrant color, is tasting in flavor to its fullest, is smelling, it's all of your senses literally get dulled because you're in this state of fight or flight. And it's absolutely amazing that I got to experience just a heightened sense of reality. It's not altered, but it's real. And then I'm like, is this how everyone feels? Is this how everyone sees? And it was just such a joyful, just a breakthrough for me. And I will never go without these patches. And then the last patch I want to talk to you about is the Kick It patch. This was the last patch that I kind of added into this trio of patches, which again is the Peace patch, the Joy patch, and the Boost patch. And Boost is a great patch for energy. You don't have to be experiencing depression or anxiety or any of those things. It's 12-hour, sustained energy. When you're done, you don't want to have energy anymore. You just take the patch off and you're done. It's not like something has to leave your system. But if you're struggling with low motivation, which is very typical of people that are struggling with anxiety and depression, or if you're stuck in that state of immobility and you just feel overwhelmed, this patch is beautiful, especially when paired with the Joy patch. This is the last patch that I added in, and it's called the Kick It patch. This patch is actually incredible for so many people for so many different reasons. I'm only going to speak into how it helped me with those subconscious looping thoughts. This is those subconscious negative thoughts, those thoughts of worry, those thoughts of overwhelm, those thoughts of negativity, those thoughts of self-doubt, those thoughts of just not being good enough or never feeling like I could break free. This patch is so helpful for that. And what it does is it actually just stops those looping thoughts in your mind right in their tracks. And it's super effective. I cannot wait for you to hear Courtney Sapp's testimony tonight. She's got a really incredibly powerful testimony. She's going to dive deeper into this. And so if any of this has resonated with you, please drop a comment so I can connect with you. And I just would love to support you on your journey. Remember, a doctor treats symptoms. The Peace patch supports the system behind the symptoms. It offers nervous system regulation, emotional balance, and physical relief without drugs, supplements, stimulants, chemicals, and side effects. It's literally a new category of wellness, wearable technology that helps your brain function better. As a former teacher and now a wellness educator, I want you to have the information that you were never told. I was never told, and I wish I knew better. But now I know better, and now I can do better, right? This is the science behind why so many women feel unheard and misdiagnosed. Stress is a silent killer, but it's also reversible when we support the nervous system, which is the root of the root of the root when it comes to our health. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. All right, guys, thank you for letting me share this with you. I'm now going to announce our 2 winners. So if we could get a drum roll in the comments, that would be amazing. We've got some incredible prizes to give away. The first winner is Lisa Dunnigan Ditterline. I love your name. Lisa Dunnigan Ditterline has won an oversized cozy blanket hoodie. Hello. Who doesn't want that in this season of just, wellness and holidays, and, you could wear it for yourself or you could give it away as a gift. So again, that's Lisa Dunnigan Ditterline. You have won an oversized cozy blanket hoodie. Congratulations. And now drum roll for number 2. Sheila Watts is our second winner. You have won a wood phone docking station nightstand organizer. I saw the picture and it's freaking amazing. It's super cool. I would love to have it for myself or give it as a gift to somebody in my life. So again, that's Sheila Watts. Congratulations. We are so happy for you. And then remember, we have one more live today at 7 p.m. Central with Courtney Sapp. She is going to be announcing our $100 cash winner in her live, and she has a powerful testimony that you do not want to miss. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I want to say God bless you, and I want to say one more thing. Peace be with you. Okay, bye everybody.